The Great Collapse, China's pork market in freefall, signaling a broader economic catastrophe. In a devastating blow to China's agricultural sector, the pork market has undergone a total collapse, leaving farmers in utter despair and the economy teetering on the brink of a full-blown depression. Fat pigs and piglets alike have plummeted in value, pushing breeders to the edge of ruin. "I can't hold on much longer, brothers," one distraught farmer lamented in a viral video, encapsulating the widespread agony. With no clear path forward, these once thriving operations are drowning in losses, their vast herds becoming burdensome liabilities rather than assets. The mockery and criticism from online trolls only deepen the wound, as breeders grapple with the harsh reality of a market that has hit rock bottom. This isn't just a minor dip. It's the lowest pork prices in over 2 decades of industry experience. A thunderous crash has toppled the dominoes of the swine market, with prices diving off a cliff in a catastrophic avalanche. The entire live pig sector lies in ruins, a wasteland of unsold meat and shattered dreams. In some regions, pork fetches as little as 1 or 2 yuan per jin, about half a kilogram, a price so abysmal it defies belief. Farmers with thousands of heads of livestock are left wondering, sell at a massive loss or watch their animals waste away. Last year's 15 yuan per jin for pork belly has halved to a promotional 7 yuan in supermarkets, achieving pig-holding freedom at the cost of breeders fainting in tears amid their sties. The pain is palpable. Around Chunchi Road near Longwang Temple Alley, pork now sells for 10 yuan a jin, a current version that's shockingly cheap. In Beijing's Huaguan supermarket, counters overflow with pork at 5 or 6 yuan, drawing crowds who marvel at the bargains but fail to grasp the underlying tragedy. "This pork is too strong," one shopper quipped ironically, unaware that behind the low prices lies a friend's tale of breeding costs outstripping revenues. Piglet prices have cratered too, with no end in sight. The root cause? A stagnant economy where industries falter, ordinary people's incomes shrink, and meat consumption, the hardest hit, plunges. Restaurants and meat-dependent businesses shutter at an alarming rate, slashing demand and exacerbating the oversupply nightmare. Beware. China is barreling toward an unprecedented deflationary storm that will upend jobs and lives. Agricultural products bear the brunt. With pork prices down 40%, beef 9%, eggs 8%, sweet potatoes at 4 to 5 mao, tenths of a yuan, and cabbage at 2 to 3 mao. Supply glut reigns supreme, far outpacing feeble demand. Skeptics might scoff, "What does this have to do with my 3,000 yuan monthly salary?" Cheaper prices are a win. Short term, yes. For consumers, it's a boon. For farmers, a curse. But long-term, it's poison for everyone. Prolonged agricultural price drops breed deflation, where falling prices sap economic vitality. China is already mired in deflation, a vicious cycle where money gains value but investments and spending evaporate, leading to undersupply mismatches and further price crashes. This deflationary spiral erodes corporate profits, curtails wages, and halts money circulation. People hoard cash, markets starve, businesses slash jobs, and incomes dwindle further, amplifying the downturn. Enterprises can't sell, so they cut deeper, trapping the nation in a malignant loop. Consider ducks at 100 yuan for 4. "What kind of economy is this? So terrible!" one observer cried. Breeding from egg to 3 jin bird yields just 25 yuan per duck, less than a milk tea. Online keyboard warriors, detached from reality, spout nonsense while hardworking folks see diligence fail to bring wealth. Even sows are given away in desperation. As a rural emigre, this hits home. The injustice is baffling, with some clinging to delusional, spiritual victories, reminiscent of outdated ideologies. China's economy is in recessionary deflation, The Great Depression looming large. Videos from breeders and merchants show pork prices in freefall, markets collapsing, and bloodletting losses. Prices have sunk to 4-year lows, with wholesale averages dropping for 10 straight weeks. Analysts warn this is merely the prelude to crisis. September's consumer and producer price indices both declined persistently, yet CCP media ramps up rosy economic propaganda. Gray Fox on housing argues that deflation's slide will batter every industry and system. No sector escapes. A disaster worse than the Great Depression lurks ahead. Netizens' footage reveals not just pork's downfall, but cascading collapses in other foods and consumer goods. In Beijing and surrounds, famed discount supermarkets see pork frozen at rock bottom, citizens scrambling in mad rushes while cabbage hits mere mao per jin. Jingnan Guan's JD discount store, Liu Qiangdong's 6th under JD banner, draws busloads from the city. Veggie prices have tanked, onions at 5 or 6 mayo, cabbage 4 or 5. Pork and eggs on massive sale. Why? Puzzled shoppers ask, as overnight pork dips to 6 yuan, today's under 6. This year's pork crash begs questions. Will crabs follow? Sudden plunges spark suspicions of foul play. Hoping authorities explain and do real work, one sighs. Have you noticed? This year's farm prices are absurdly low. Consumers might miss it, but ag workers feel the sting. On a Fujian business trip, teas, pomelos, passion fruits, and sunshine roses sell below labor costs, let alone fertilizers and pesticides. Cabbage fields grown under 7 to 8 kilo heads at under 2 mao per kilo. We loaded a truck for pickling, easing farmers' burdens slightly. Autumn watermelons fare no better, prices gruesome. Last year's 2 yuan cabbages now 1 yuan per massive head, unsellable. Not dropping, just on the drop path, with sellers outnumbering buyers amid sluggish demand. Markets can't digest the glut. Nothing's worth a dime. Fruit growers bleed money. Hard, too hard this year. Shrimp that once fetched 50 yuan a jin now worthless as dirt. Corn? Bewildering business, unprecedented. Whatever the price, no one wants it. Crab markets have imploded, piled into mountains, acquirers fleeing. This wave crushes buyers and breeders alike. Recent years' cheapest, yet volumes disappoint. Cheaper means harder to sell, or sell cheap unsellably. Sellers swarm over buyers. Comrades, prices are truly dirt cheap. In supermarkets, Hainan bananas at 2.99 yuan, 3 per jin versus usual 5. Honeydew, 1.29. Broccoli, 4 yuan, down from 7.8. Radishes, 0.49 mao. Eggs, 3 plus yuan. Folks hauling 200 jin home. Nanchang's prices dive. Housing down, dailies and consumables slashed. Adidas, Skechers, Vans from 400-500 to 10s. Japan's 1990s deflation trap saw CPI below 1% for decades, wages falling as prices cheapened, firms unprofitable, costs cut via pay drops and layoffs. Asset shortages deterred investment, sparking more cuts, consumption fears, and a death spiral. Unsold goods, losses, more layoffs, less buying. China's tumbling prices aren't blessings, they herald tougher earning times. Northeast veggies, 6 mao here, 3 there. What's up this year? No spending? Last cold season, milk tea, coffee, cakes, barbecues boomed. Now, a rider clocks 26 orders for 110 yuan from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Barbecues scarce. Consumption downgrade? No money? Wages cut? Riders starve as orders dry up. Firms' revenues shrink, triggering pay cuts and firings, slashing incomes, curbing spending, dropping prices further, a toxic cycle. China's deflation stems from its economic troika, investment, exports, consumption, all faltering. Ordinary folks struggle. Skincare from 1,000 plus yuan to 10s, brands unknown, skin unchanged. Why bother before? Hilarious now. Businesses tank across boards, tobacco, alcohol shops, veggies, eateries, clothing, even barbers. People not cutting hair? Empty streets in Baidi Road's Dapiwa market. Tofu, meat, chicken, fruit stalls deserted, whole floors shuttered post-lunch Saturdays. Consumption downgrade is visceral. 2025's pace beyond imagination. Not just hinterlands. Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen tighten belts. Starbucks empty, Snow Kings lines long. Upscale Japanese spots bankrupt. 20,000 yuan month bankers queue for 12 yuan lunches. Million yuan depositors snag 98 yuan flights at midnight. Milk tea from 30 yuan to 9.9. Gyms Huan, Tony's salons close en masse. Hermes hordes revert to canvas bags. Phenomena scream downgrade. Pork's plunge mirrors China's malaise. Economic slump, waning consumer power, mounting deflation pressure. Anxiety grips all sectors. Unemployment breeds hopelessness. Real estate's a key depression link, but industry-wide gloom terrifies more than housing crashes. Though 2025 feels depressive, it's just the start. True panic awaits, downgrade wretched low-price economy regressing life 20 years. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, maintains power through a system of tyrannical rule and blatant disregard for the rights and welfare of its own populace. The CCP's annual spending on stability maintenance routinely surpasses its military budget, a chilling indication that the regime views its own citizens as the most formidable enemy. This pervasive oppression has fueled a deep-seated anti-CCP consciousness across the nation, manifesting in frequent and widespread group protests. Social eruptions, the wave of violent clashes. A surging wave of violent clashes and desperate acts of resistance against CCP officials underscores the boiling rage within the public. These tragic incidents are not isolated. They are the inevitable consequence of an authoritarian model where local officials and power brokers exploit and oppress the most vulnerable. Land seizures and brutal suppression. The CCP brazenly seizes people's land, often deploying riot police to brutally suppress any resistance. When pushed to the extreme, with no legal or rational means to defend themselves, citizens resort to desperate acts of revenge, including killing officials. Hainan's fierce protest. A large-scale protest erupted in Jai village, Hainan province, following a land dispute where a state-owned enterprise, the Hainan Natural Rubber Industry Group, violently cut down farmers' chestnut orchards. Local residents, bolstered by supporters from across Hainan, surrounded the company building. Riot police were deployed, leading to the crowd overturning multiple vehicles and tearing down the company sign. Gunshots were reportedly heard, and the confrontation did not conclude until 1 a.m., with Chinese internet authorities later comprehensively deleting related content. Jiangxi land dispute. In Haja village, Jiangxi province, a clash occurred after the village committee allegedly sold collectively owned riverside land without consent. When authorities confiscated villagers' small boats to stop protests, villagers surrounded and detained the deputy town mayor until officials promised to return the boats. Guangxi standoff. In Nanning, Guangxi, villagers surrounded dozens of police who entered a village to arrest rights-protecting citizens involved in a 2-year struggle against a company attempting to seize ecological forest land for mining. Villagers successfully forced the police to release the detainees. Guangdong, mayoral. Stabbing. In Lianping County, Guangdong, a policy to destroy villagers' fruit orchards quickly led to bloodshed when a villager stabbed the town mayor to death when authorities abruptly halted the operation immediately following the violent act. The root cause: financial time bomb and corruption. The surge in violence is fundamentally driven by a financial time bomb. Local governments, long dependent on land sales to balance budgets, are crippled by the collapse of the real estate market. Facing massive deficits, officials resort to crude measures, cutting welfare programs, raising taxes, and escalating land seizures. This crisis is compounded by local corruption, where funds meant for social welfare are often embezzled, leaving citizens even more destitute. As former Beijing lawyer Li Jinping noted, those marginalized lack any legal recourse, leading them to resort to irrational acts of resistance against the village tyrants. Economic and social collapse. The silent turmoil. Beneath the political clashes is a deeper, silent collapse of hope and dignity, as millions struggle to survive China's rapidly deteriorating economic landscape. The phrase, working just to eat, has become a grim reality. Desperate survival and record unemployment. Elderly scavenging. Across cities, the number of people collecting recycling scraps is soaring. Elderly citizens, some in their 70s, must work to eat, with many relying on meals paid for with scrap metal. A 73-year-old man, fearing age discrimination, tells employers he is 63 just to find work, surviving on little more than steamed buns soaked in water. Social insurance often amounts to barely 200 yuan a month, far too little to live on. Youth desperation. The younger generation faces a unique crisis. College graduates face record unemployment, with an estimated 70 to 80% struggling to find stable jobs. Even master's and doctoral degrees no longer guarantee employment, a phenomenon experts call the devaluation of higher education. The nursing home trend. In a profound display of economic desperation, young people are moving into nursing homes as affordable housing. A 27-year-old woman in Zhejiang, paying 1,500 yuan a month for room and 2 meals, exemplifies this trend, which is praised online as being cheaper than renting an apartment. Petty competition. Small merchants are crushed by endless price undercutting, engaging in killing each other with competition. Even desperate measures like exploiting the 7-day no-questions-asked refund policy, ordering clothes, wearing them, and returning them for a full refund show the depth of the financial strain. The exhaustion of education. China's education system is often described as a prison or a trophy system that is consuming the physical and mental health of its students. Extreme study hours. An online survey exposed primary and secondary schools enforcing extreme study hours, with schedules running from 6:00 a.m. to 11:00 p.m., 611 ICU, a commitment of up to 90 hours per week. Students have minimal rest, with many schools providing winter breaks shorter than 10 days and only 2 days off per month. Mental and physical toll. Students are exhausted, and teachers and parents are under immense pressure. Children are denied sick leave, and schools, monitored by cameras, adopt a military-style discipline often traced back to the rigid Hengyue model. Unaffordable tutoring. The cost of tutoring is unbearable for most families, reaching 4,000 to 10,000 yuan a month for just one subject, creating a massive financial hurdle for lower-income families. A system in crisis. Experts argue that unchecked expansion and ideological control have diluted academic quality, leading to a deep crisis where education has become an expensive gamble with diminishing returns. Public health and political scrutiny. The nation is also dealing with an early and severe influenza A, H3N2 outbreak that has quickly spread across the mainland, forcing many provinces to suspend classes. Experts warn the H3N2 strain is more virulent than past strains, capable of affecting multiple organ systems, and they have not ruled out the possibility of a new variant emerging. In the political arena, the relationship between Trump and Xi Jinping has drawn significant public attention. Trump's frequent public praise of Xi as an excellent and highly respected leader often perplexed the Chinese public. During a critical meeting, Xi's body language was noted as awkward, tense, and stiff. He notably read his script word for word from a large print notebook, avoiding eye contact with Trump, sparking mockery online about a Chinese language exam. The meeting's outcome, which saw China concede to U.S. demands on multiple core issues, including fentanyl, rare earths, and soybean purchases, suggested a leadership under duress. Analysts speculated that Xi's performance revealed internal pressure, a possible loss of real power, or even memory decline, forcing him to act as a mere front for the party. These ongoing crises, from the bottom-up social upheaval and economic desperation to the systemic failures in education and the apparent struggles at the highest levels of political power, paint a picture of a nation caught in a state of profound and silent turmoil.